Hello, everyone, and welcome. Um, Thank you for joining the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity webinar series. NCORE is part of the Southwest Center for Human Relations Studies at the University of Oklahoma in Norman. My name is Dedrick K. Perkins. I am the Senior Program Coordinator, and I'm delighted to welcome you and be your host this afternoon. Our hope is that we continue the conference tradition of working to improve racial, ethnic, and intercultural relations on college campuses and community organizations by providing virtual learning with opportunities like this one. Welcome to those of you joining us for the first time in the spring 2024 webinar season. NCORE has monthly webinars on the first and last Wednesday of each month, with the occasional exceptions like holidays. Some webinars are free and others are offered at a modest fee of $25. Our next webinar is entitled Multiracial Blackness, A Journey of Identity, Discovery, and Trauma, presented by Adam Smith, Executive Director for University Academic Advising at the University of Kentucky. That will be held on Wednesday, February 7th. So Wednesday, February 7th. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items. If you need to utilize closed captioning, make sure your settings are set to on. Always remain muted unless you are requested to unmute. We ask that your background has no moving images or flashing lights. And please report any specific tech, accessibility, and other operational concerns via direct message to me, the session host. Please hold your questions until the end of the session where we will have a short Q&A. We will use the raise your hand feature to facilitate that portion of the session. Today, our featured presenters are Deliana Acosta and Diana Galvez on the topic of La Hermanidad, connecting mental health resources with DEI work through storytelling. Welcome our presenters.
Thank you so much, Dedrick. Let me just share my screen. So I want to get started today with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the traditional and ancestral homes of the Lenni Lenape tribal nation of New Jersey and the Delaware River, whose lands we occupy and call home, as well as our ancestors of the Arawak-Taino people of Quisqueya, los Quisqueyanos. We take this opportunity to thank and honor the original caretakers of this land. May our time here lead to actions that uproot systems of oppression, and may we come into relationship with place and place-based people. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Diana Galvez, and I am one of the presenters for today's presentation. Dr. Maya Angelou is quoted in saying, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." To better understand La Hermanidad, we want to start by sharing a little bit of ourselves and our stories. La Hermanidad is all about storytelling, how we can grow and learn from just listening from each other's stories. So my story began in a small island in the Caribbean. I was born in Dominican Republic to a family that has influenced my taste in music, my love for literature, and my passion for social justice. I left the island at the age of 4 and found myself living in San Juan, Puerto Rico, before eventually migrating up north to Union City, New Jersey, a day shy of my 5th birthday. I am a product of the Union City, New Jersey public school system. I graduated top 10% of my high school graduating class, and ironically later on received my associates in sociology from Hudson County Community College as a non-traditional student. I later graduated from New Jersey City University with my bachelor's in sociology and anthropology, and I'm happy to inform everyone that I am currently enrolled in Fairleigh Dickinson University's Master's of Administrative Science program. My experiences are my most valuable assets as a higher education administrator. It has led me to become assistant director of the North Hudson campus of Hudson County Community College. It's led me to co-create and facilitate Hudson County Community College's DEI student passport program. It's led me to be advisor of the Land Society Club and co-advisor of the Active Minds chapter of Hudson County Community College. It's allowed me to be an instructor for a college student success course for the past 3 years. And it's also led me to lead one of Hudson County Community College's JET team's groups, the social connections and communications group. And most of all, my experience had led me here with all of you today. So I'm going to pass it on to my co-presenter, Deliana. Go right ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Deliana Acosta. I'm a licensed social worker in the state of New Jersey. I work at Hudson County Community College for the Mental Health Counseling and Wellness Department, which has allowed me to grow tremendously and doing a lot of the work that Diana and I have been able to bring to our students, staff, and faculty. Hermanidad has allowed us to build a community, allowing students to connect with teachers, staff members, and just bridging the gap, I would say. I've been able to facilitate the DISPP program, club advisor for Active Minds chapter, and co-advisor for the Lion Society with Diana. I also teach at ACC at Montclair State University, and I'm the co-chair for the JED team. Just a little about me. I was born in the United States, in New Jersey, Jersey City. So I grew up, went to one of the top high schools in New Jersey, was able to graduate from there, continue my studies at Pace University, where I majored in criminal justice and minored in sociology. And throughout my year gap, I was able to find a love I've always loved helping people, but actually thinking of going into that field. So I eventually went back to school and got my master's of social work at Rutgers University, which has led me to receive my social work license and working towards my clinical license, allowing me to in the future hopefully do some work with the minority community and focusing with first-gen students. So as Diana said, storytelling is our kind of like the heart of this project. So you'll see as we go on through the slides, the importance of storytelling and being able to connect with others. Okay, so just a bit of what we're going to be focusing on today. So our agenda, right? Our origin story, the full circle, storytelling as a qualitative tool. We're then going to go over our group parameters. So what exactly is the sisterhood and how our discussions run. Our group outcomes. So the outcomes between my department, the Mental Health Counseling and Wellness Department, collaborations and mentorships. Testimonials, we have some of our participants here joining us today, so they will be able to speak. And then we'll have Q&A, role play, final reflection, and then we'll have Q&A with you guys.
So our origin story, where did this discussion series come from? Where did this group originate? So I previously mentioned me and Deliana both being facilitators for the Hudson County Community College Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Student Passport Program. Hermanidad is actually its child. It was birthed out of this program that we facilitated and I helped co-create. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Student Passport Program, or like we like to call it here in our Hudson family, DEISPP, was started in the spring, actually in the fall of 2020, and it was a kind of like an answer to all of the social unrest that was going on at the time. We wanted to create a program where students could understand what was going on and kind of also learn from it and then spread the word. Spread what they've learned, how they've grown, and everything that the program entails. All our students have completed this 8-week completely online and completely free program learn about microaggressions. They learn about their privilege, their unconscious biases. They learn about social constructs and how to deconstruct them, about allyship and inclusive language. And they share their stories and they share their experiences in all kinds of different situations. So one of my jobs as facilitator was to kind of grade, not really grade, but make sure that they're answering the discussion questions and giving them the allotted points, which would later on lead to the completion of the program and they would become equity leaders. And I remember I was reading the discussions and we had a lot of female students talk. It was discussions on unconscious biases. And we had a lot of female students share stories and talk about how they had biases against men and how they felt uncomfortable and how they felt unsafe in most situations that involved men. And I remember sitting there and reading these stories and feeling so helpless because one, I didn't know how to respond to them. And two, I didn't feel like it was appropriate for me to tell them that they're not justified in their experiences. These women had been in scary situations, they've had scary relationships, and we all know unconscious biases are patterns that we experience that kind of our brain tells us is true. So I remember going back to the group. We used to meet every week to discuss how the 8 weeks were progressing and what kind of themes we've defined in the discussion boards. And it just so happened that when it's very serendipitous. When this was going on, Deliana had just been hired as our social worker for the North Hudson campus. So we finally were getting able to expand our mental health department, and we invited her to our meeting, and we talked about how that we needed kind of a mental health eye in the discussion boards to be able to reach out to students and know how to talk to them about these very heavy topics. So I reached out to Deliana and I told her my concern about the program and kind of what we could do to create a space where these students can ask the questions that they wanted to ask, but also express themselves without feeling like not safe or not comfortable or not at home. So Student Passport program created kind of this theme, and La Hermanidad came out of it. We did present the DEI SPP program in NCORE in 2022. And during my time there, I was able to sit into the Mother Scholaring, which is a group, and actually Oklahoma University group, and they were speaking about how their experiences and sharing their stories about being mothers and in school and getting these higher education degrees and the struggles and experiences. So when I sat down with Deliana and we were trying to think about this group, that was another workshop that kind of influenced this discussion series and this support group. I did reach out to different departments within our college to see if there was any such existing group, because then I would just simply refer the students. Amala Agborn, which is also a co-creator and facilitator for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Student Passport Program, had originally created the Barbershop, which was a male-supported support system, and it was a space for them to break stigmas about mental health and other things within kind of the male's perspective. But we didn't have a group for women and students that identified as women. So then Hermanidad came about. Deliana and me picked the name. Just a heads up for my Spanish speakers. Yes, we do know that Hermanidad is not a Spanish word. We just have origins in Latino group. Our school is an HSI. So historically, a Hispanic serving institution. So a majority of our students are Spanish speaking, and we wanted to kind of translate the word sisterhood. And sisterhood to us translated as hermanidad in Spanish. We later found out it was not a real word, so we kind of made it up. We also, if you look on the slide in the right-hand corner, we have our logo that we often use in our flyers and presentations. This logo shares our name in both Spanish and English. It has our motto, which is empowering women within higher education through storytelling. And it also has Medusa. Medusa is often a safe haven for women, and we want to make sure that our students and coworkers understood that this place, this discussion series, this group was a safe haven for them. During this, learning more about storytelling and this program, we came to realize that sharing our stories has a greater impact on breaking stigmas and spreading awareness about certain topics, particularly within women groups.
So storytelling as a qualitative tool. As Diana and I were developing the group and, you know, the importance of storytelling, right? Sharing our experiences so that we can learn from one another. We found out that, as we know, right, storytelling is a natural way of communicating, but we thought about the old times, folk tales, right? So growing up in Hispanic Dominican households, there was a lot of folk tales, right? Don't do this, don't do that. And it's like, well, where's this coming from, right? Where's the evidence, the science? But so we kind of wanted to tap into that realm of like the folk tales and getting inspired by that. So research shows that using storytelling as a qualitative tool allows for content, depth of meaning, emotion, and detail. So I'm just gonna read a quote from Potts. We learn about events and process over time, who is involved, and what is important. We understand and experience from the individual's point of view, and we hear their words as they tell it. Most importantly, we and our clients connect with the storyteller. So for me, I am a licensed social worker, right? I do therapy sessions. We allow our clients to express themselves, right? We listen and we allow them to express, and then we engage in conversation. So we kind of wanted that modality of, okay, we're creating this safe space so that women can share their stories, for us to listen, but also for us to provide feedback, but everyone else in the room, right? Creating, once again, that community. So Deborah Potts shares that storytelling provides context and detail, told in respondents' own words with their own language, thus revealing their unique perspective on meaning and understanding. Language, right? When we were thinking about the title is La Hermanidad, the sisterhood, a lot of people were thinking, oh, this is just a Spanish, like we have to speak in Spanish. And that's something we spoke about, right? Like, so how do we want to navigate this? Obviously, we're gonna go with English, right? But are there gonna be times where we end up speaking in Spanish, right? What about, as Diana mentioned, we're a Hispanic Serving Institute. What about our ESL students, the ones that speak Spanish? If they want to join in, like how are we gonna kind of navigate that? As of now, everyone speaks English. I know we've had a few ESL students, but they'll speak to us in English, and if they're having difficulty, they'll write in the chat, and then we'll just translate. But knowing that when you're expressing yourself, you want to express yourself in your first language. So for me, I'm a bilingual clinician. So there are times where I'm having sessions with our students and we're speaking in Spanish, right? Because that's the way that they know how to express themselves. So we were very big on expression in whatever it is that you feel comfortable, right? If it's in English, if it's Spanish, if it's, at least within like the work that I do within the department, you can express yourself through art, right? There's so many different modalities. So just being open in that sense. And then what's important as well, the voice of generations can make a real impact, right? So I mentioned we have students that join, we have staff and faculty. It's different age groups. So it's beautiful to see sometimes our students share these experiences and then our staff or faculty jumping in and sharing their experiences and kind of seeing how things have transpired over the years. And just kind of like, we're all going through something, right? And we're not alone, we know that, right? But how different it could look for each stage. So I think that's one of the beautiful things about our group is that we get to see that and we see how people engage and they're supporting each other. So it's been nice to be able to create an environment like that.
Group parameters. Sorry about that. Okay, so group parameters. The what? What is the Hermanidad, the sisterhood? So our mission statement is empowering women within higher education through storytelling, a safe space where women and women aligned are encouraged to share, reflect, educate, and start to heal through their experiences. We always read a disclaimer at the beginning of every discussion. The disclaimer is these conversations are being held to empower and provide healthy ways to go through life. This is not to be used as a therapy session. If you feel triggered or need someone to speak with, reach out to our mental health professional. And Deliana is always in the chat. She shares the links to our mental health department contact information. Also, we have UTalk and University U.
You will.
You will, they available for our students. So we share those links in case anybody needs to step out or need to speak somebody in private. We have 3 simple rules in our discussions. Sis, if it resonates, snap. Sis, if you feel triggered, it's okay. If you want to speak with us privately, let us know. Again, we encourage them to put in the chat that they need to speak to us, if we could step out. And then, of course, respect your fellow sisters, even when you disagree. I'm big on the whole agree to disagree rule. So as long as we're being respectful, it's okay if we're not seeing eye to eye. We all come from different backgrounds, different perspectives. So that's okay. As long as we're showing each other love and are being open-minded about each other's experiences. This group is open to everyone. There are no exclusions. So yes, we have had male employees and students show up to our sessions and share their perspective, which is really awesome to see male students and employees kind of listen to women vent and then have kind of a response to that vent session. We do student, faculty, staff, administrators. We've had a couple of faculty members come in and kind of want to share, grab what they've learned in our sessions and take it to their classrooms, particularly our English professors. They love kind of making prompts with the questions and discussions that we have. Sisterhood is housed in our mental health department, or mental health counseling and wellness department. So all of our events and our budget goes through them. We do have collaborations with our student life and leadership department, as well as the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Most of our sessions are done online. Deliana and I talked about possibly doing these sessions in person, and we've come to realize that when you give people the opportunity to kind of remain anonymous, because they could put whatever name they want in the Zoom meeting, they don't have to be on camera, they don't even have to talk. If they just want to sit and listen to what's being discussed, they're allowed to do that. So they could put it in the chat, or they could just ignore us. The entire session is completely okay. So because we only have these sessions, these discussions once a month online via Zoom, we've also kind of incorporated in-person events throughout the semesters so that we get to meet the students in person, they get to see us in person, and we could also connect them with different resources. One of our annual events, we're actually doing our third annual Women Empowerment Festival this semester on March 8th. We started having these empowerment festivals in 2022, and we're up to our third one. I believe, Delana, please tell me if I'm wrong, we so far have 15 outside agencies that are coming to this festival and participating and sharing their resources and services with our students. So it was a way for us and the mental health department to connect with outside agencies and community resources, as well as showcase our own resources within our institution to the students. And then we also had an Indigenous Heritage Celebration in November 2nd of 2022. And we had an Indigenous Aztec group come and share kind of one of their ceremonies, their blessing ceremonies, and it was amazing. We hope to in the future create more events like this where we're exposing different cultures. During our Indigenous event, one of our students who was actually part of this Indigenous group shared how she incorporates her nursing courses and her nursing knowledge that she is getting here at Hudson with her heritage and her traditional culture, and she hopes to mix the two and help better help the women in her community with reproductive health and kind of sticking to the natural remedies for reproductive health.
Okay, so the outcomes. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the outcomes with the Mental Health Counseling and Wellness Department, since we are housed, Hermanidad is housed under that department. So we always like to send out a survey. We wait until the end of the semester instead of doing them after each session, just to kind of get feedback, what they thought about each session. We usually do 3 in a semester. And if they have any ideas, things like that, so that we can use that when we're planning for the following semester. So what we saw when we first began at Hermanidad was that the department saw an increase in services and resources being used. So let it be the Talk Campus. We recently just got granted UWIL end of last year. So we're still going to see the numbers with that. But in regards to the services of students wanting to seek mental health support, we saw an increase in that. We also were able to see that stress is one of the highest ranking diagnoses at our school, followed by depression, anxiety, and adjustment disorder, and PTSD. We are seeing a lot of students with trauma coming in, and we will refer them out to another agency to work further with them on that. We're noticing that students are more open to seeking services and they feel safe, right? There's that comfort. So the good thing is you have 2 different faces. You have my face for the mental health counseling and wellness, and then you have Diana's face in her role. So students kind of get to see like, okay, it's 2 different leadership roles. Well, Diana being in a role of leadership, and then me being like the behind the scenes doing the services or the programming on campus. So they're able to be like, okay, well, you know, we noticed that with some students, they either don't come for services because the person doesn't look like them, or they think, oh, they're not going to understand me, they're not going to understand my struggles. So when they see a face that's familiar, it's like, okay, they'll consider it. We continue to maintain a stigma-free campus by breaking cultural stigmas. So in 2020, the director of the Mental Health Counseling and Wellness Center, Doreen Pontius Molos, was able to make Hudson County Community College a stigma-free campus. I don't know how she did it, but she did it, and we continue to live by that. So we are a stigma-free campus, either if you're in Jersey City or in the North Hudson campus, we go by that, and we continue. And also we were able to develop support groups. So we get in master level interns every semester. And we were able to have them create different types of support groups. And one of them that came out through Hermanidad, like just through ideas and speaking, was Talking It Out series. So every session was a different topic. Usually with support groups, you stick with one topic, you go over it. But with this one, we were able to kind of switch it up. So every session is a different topic. Students could, if they want to join, they'll join. And this one as well is on Zoom, just to kind of create that safe environment and also being anonymous. Because some people, they want to join a group, but they don't want you to see them or know their name, right? So yes, that's the outcomes, at least within the department.
And then outcomes outside of the department were the partnerships that we've developed with other agencies. So we had a couple of agencies such as Hudson Pride, Partners in Prevention, Hoboken Family Planning, NJCRI, Palisades Family Success, the Lindsay Institute, Project T, Healthier JC, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Hudson County. So we were able to expand this list. These are just a few, like I mentioned before, we have 15 agencies this year, and we hope to keep growing. This group has evolved into a mentorship program. Deliana mentioned how oftentimes we have faculty, staff, administrators, and our students in the same sessions. So for example, when we talk about motherhood, we have students that are not moms, that haven't even thought about motherhood or how that may affect their life or change their life. And then you have these administrators, faculty, and staff members talking about different ages of motherhood. Some of them are grandmothers, some of them are brand new mothers, some of them have been mothers for years. So sharing that story and that generational knowledge and kind of passing it on in these sessions have kind of become a mentorship program. It's really amazing when we have a student kind of get out of their comfort zone at the end when we're saying our final remarks and say thank you, because she felt safe and she felt like she was heard and seen, because she's in a group but she has all these kind of mother figures and older sisters kind of guiding her and telling her it's okay to feel like this. It's okay to feel frustrated and feel like you're struggling and that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We've all been there. So it kind of has connected us more and created this community that just keeps growing and expanding. I am really hoping that we get more students in these meetings, but so far those that we have gotten, we always tell them to spread the word and we keep their email so they know when the next discussion is going to take place. Creating an environment of inclusivity. This event is kind of showcasing women, and we do a lot of collaboration with the DEI office. So we constantly keep them in the loop because we want to be able to create this group that kind of connects with different departments, not just mental health, but also diversity, equity, and inclusion office and the student life office, so that we reach as many students as possible, because this space was created for the students, even though we kind of adopted our colleagues into it and it's grown because of them. It was a space for our students so they could be heard and they feel safe. So we do have an environment of inclusivity and reach out to different departments. Mental health interns are now, well, actually it's moved, but they're now running the barbershop. And we are planning on someday collaborating with the sisterhood. The intern that was in the mental health department is now actually an advisor for EOF, and he is the one that is kind of taking charge, Eric Akoa, of the barbershop. And he wants to collaborate, so we're looking for a collaboration effort, most likely an in-person collaboration where we have a discussion from both sides and we get the male perspective and the female perspective in the discussion.
Okay, so at Encore, we played these videos because these lovely ladies could not be with us. But today, one of them, and we have someone else that will be sharing. So June, if you don't mind unmuting yourself and just sharing your experience with the group.
Hi, you kind of put me on the spot here. Hi, everybody. My name is June Barriera. I have been with Hudson County Community College a little over 15 years. And what the two of these women have done is amazing. Aside from the fact that I'm very close to both of them, but it's an amazing event and it's an amazing, it's just amazing. It's very touching to me because I get to share my life experiences with a lot of the younger students and a lot of the younger staff as well. And a lot of the things that we discuss, it gets to the core of us as women. I am not a mom, but I can relate to a lot of it because I go out with the both of them and their children. So I can understand, their struggles. I've been around a lot of women that have been, with their struggles, just a lot of parents in general. And it's opened up our closeness, if I can say it properly, but it's opened us up to the point where the students some students will come up to me and go, oh, okay. So it's more of a thing where you can look at me and not have to say, I know where you're from. Because we already have that. We've already shared that, with this La Hermanidad. I always mess up how to say it, but anyway, I'm so grateful for both of you for having this program, and I truly hope that it grows and it becomes better and bigger and just wow. So thank you both very much, and again, I'm very grateful for it.
Thank you, June. Now I'm gonna ask Joycelyn Juan Castellano to please share.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joycelyn Wong Castellano. I am the Student Success Coach for the Early College Programs at Hudson County Community College. I am also an intern with the Mental Health Department. And above all, I am a proud alumni from Hudson County Community College. Diana and Deliana have seen me as a student and has seen me grown. And just being part of this program, this group, it is definitely a sisterhood. They're friends, they're close to my heart. And just this last semester, we were talking about, the theme was the Barbie movie. And it made me realize that like empowerment and being close, not only to your friends, but like just empowering women in general. It's really fulfilling, and to be able to also give back to your own community, especially when you're a minority and you're a woman. We need more people like Diana and Deliana. And I just really can't express the gratitude that I have for them. I'm proud to work alongside with them and just be their friends as well. And June topped it off earlier, so that's all I have to say.
Can I just say one more thing? I'm so sorry, but I totally second what Joycelyn says. So thank you both very much.
I have one more person. I don't know if they'll be able to speak, but Yadelin. Oh,
Hi,
yeah.
how are you guys? Hi, my name is Yadelin. I am a part-time office assistant at the North Hudson campus. I am currently on maternity leave with my baby, but soon is going to come to an end, and soon I'll be back at work. But what I will say is that the sisterhood has been everything to me, especially this past year while I was pregnant. It really helped me realize that beyond me just being a mom, well, a new mom, a wife, a sister, all that, I'm still a woman. I can connect with other women in a way and learn from other women in a way that I wasn't expecting. I am also an alum from HCCC, and when I was a student, there was nothing. There wasn't a group like this. So I'm super happy and glad that this generation and future generations will have this around Hermanidad. Is something near and dear to me. Diana knows, Deliana knows. I feel like I can relate to them much more now because I am a mom. And I can't wait to share my experiences that I have been going through these past couple of months. But yeah, no, that money, that is everything and nothing. I wish this the best. I wish we can do something in person where we can all gather and see each other face to face, that it's not through Zoom. That would be amazing. But yeah.
Thank you, Yadeline. So before Diana pulls up the PowerPoint again, I'm going to drop in the chat. So we actually were planning this semester series earlier today. And we decided that we wanted to open it up to everyone here in this meeting. So I will be dropping the topics and I will be dropping the Zoom link as well. So if you would like to participate this semester, feel free to register and join. We do it on a Thursday once a month from 12 p.m. to 1:30. I know that's lunchtime, but you know, you can eat your lunch and be on with us. But yeah, we're gonna continue through the presentation.
Okay, so we are gonna go to our second half of the presentation where we are gonna kind of do a mini version of our discussion series. So usually our discussion series, we do a presentation, we run over our mission statement, our disclaimer, our rules, and then we introduce the theme for the series. So Juliana, do you want to do the usual run through?
Yeah. Dedrick, I don't know if you could drop the PDF again, just in case if anyone didn't receive it. We created kind of like an agenda for you guys to follow. And if you want to do this in your institution. So hair was one of the first topics we covered when we first launched La Hermanidad. So basically, we're going to show a video. And then after that video, there's going to be a question and you guys will answer the question. So there'll be breakout rooms. And then we'll, I think for like 15 minutes or so. And then you guys will, 15, 20 minutes. And then you guys will return back and we'll share and then do Q&A. So you want to play the video?
Yeah, just give me 1 second because I want to. If you look at the agenda that we sent you, I just wanted you all to look at the questions, the reflection questions. So you can start thinking about it while you're looking at the video. One of the things that we like to do is introduce some of the questions before we showcase the video or introduce the story, just so you are thinking about the topic while you're kind of getting this little blurb or video or kind of unique piece of literature that we've found. So our topic is hair. One of the questions, the 3 questions that you should be kind of thinking about while listening to this poem by Elizabeth Acevedo is: what role has hair played in your journey? How much value do you place on your hair? And have you ever experienced discrimination because of your hair? So this video was created by Elizabeth Acevedo. If you have the worksheet that we shared with y'all, it has the poem itself written out in the first page, and then the second page kind of has an agenda. We shared this with all of you so that if you're interested in having an Hermanidad session in your institutions, this is kind of a layout, an agenda for the session, and as well as a foundational topic, like a starting topic. And everybody likes talking about hair, so let me play this video.
My mother tells me to fix my hair. And by fix, she means straighten. She means whiten. But how do you fix this shipwrecked history of hair? The true meaning of stranded. When tresses hug tight like African cousins in ship bellies, did they imagine their great-grandchildren would look like us and would hate them how we do? trying to find ways to erase them out of our skin, to iron them out of our hair, this wild tangle of hair that strangles air. You call them wild curls, I call them breathing. Ancestors spiraling. Can't you see them in this wet hair that waves like hello? And they say Dominicans do the best hair. They can wash, set, flatten the spring in any lock. But what they mean is we're the best at swallowing amnesia in a cup of morir soñando. Die dreaming because we rather do that than live in this reality caught between orange juice and milk, between reflections of the sun and whiteness. What they mean is, why would you date a black man? What they mean is a prieto cocolo. What they mean is, why would two oppressed people come together? It's 2 times the trouble. What they really mean is, have you thought of your daughter's hair? And I don't tell them that we love like sugarcane, brown skin, pale flesh, meshed in pure sweetness, the children of fields. Our bodies curve into one another like an echo. And I let my curtain of curls blanket us from the world, how our children will be beautiful, of dust skin and diamond eyes, hair of reclamation, how I will braid pride down their backs, so from the moment they leave the womb, they will be born in love with themselves. My mother tells me to fix my hair. And so many words remain unspoken because all I can reply is you can't fix what was never broken.
You're muted, Diana.
Sorry about that. So we're going to be breaking everybody up into breakout rooms. So just so everybody understands how these discussions go, you could pick a team captain if you want. There should be 4 to 5 people in every breakout room. You are introducing yourself with your name, your title, and where you hail from. So your institution, state, city. And then you're going over your reflection questions. You're expressing yourself on what you thought about the topic. So you could use the reflection questions to help you answer the questions or share your experiences with your own hair journey. So what role has hair played in your journey? How much value have you placed on your hair? And have you ever experienced discrimination because of your hair? I think everybody's back, right? Okay, awesome. So anybody want to share or reflect on the exercise or have any questions?
It was definitely very meaningful to hear similar stories from others and, why you think we're not the only one going through it, but continuously it's especially for people who aren't even in the same institution and are across the country. But a lot of shared experiences.
Anybody else have any questions they want to share with us? Reflections? Sienna, you have your hand raised.
Hi, I just want to say one, and just, gratitude to our group. I felt like it was a really authentic space and everybody was like really sharing. And something like, I always think about is in lots of conversations around curls and hair acceptance, there is often a particular type of curl pattern that is in those conversations. And so I think there's still a lot more work to do. Like, just like, our identities are not a monolith, neither is our hair, and curly is a spectrum. And people are still very comfortable with a very certain type of curl pattern.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Anybody else? Another brave soul?
Well, I know in my group, hi everyone.
Hello.
My name is Alondra, but I know in my group I actually shared that so I come from a Mexican household, Mexican background, and I know the importance was more so placed on long hair, always having long hair, and that my beauty was connected to only having long hair. I even shared a little bit about how when I was stressing a lot, it came where I had a lot of different bald spots all over my head, and it was a tough time because I think I already knew the background of beauty being placed on having hair and having a full head of hair, and how important it is for society to see women with a full head of hair too. Um, so that was some of what I shared in my personal experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that with the group as a whole. That was actually one of the discussions and comments that came up when we had this discussion originally with our sisterhood, and it was keeping our hair long and how sometimes when we transition into a new part or a new journey in our lives, we cut our hairs to like get a fresh start. And a lot of sisters shared that their family was completely against them cutting their hair because having long hair is associated with beauty. And also like some spiritual connections have long hair with spiritual connection and your knowledge and connecting with your ancestral past. So there is a lot of want for long hair. But thank you everyone for participating, for those of you who participated. And I hope you enjoyed having this discussion and that you take all that we've shared with you and the worksheet that we share with you, and you kind of try to implement this in your own institutions. Just to further let you know, these kind of discussion groups or these kind of groups are not limited to the kind of people that you want to showcase them to. So it is a women's group, but these discussions going to be had with anybody. Women matters are human matters, I like to say. And when women are being empowered and heard and taken into our wings, I feel like society is a better place for it because we have a lot to give. So I do want to open it up for any questions or that anybody has regarding the group or our presentation, or you need us to clarify anything. I will be dropping Deliana and my contact information or emails in the chat in case anybody wants to reach out or you need any guidance or support with starting these group discussions in your own institutions.
I also dropped a PDF of our spring series. So I dropped the flyer in the chat if anyone wants to download it and join us. We look forward to seeing some new faces next month.
Thank you, Dea. We really enjoyed having you here.
Thank you for offering this. I really enjoyed it.
Diana, I know this is Caroline speaking. Hey, I just have a quick question for both of you because I think this discussion needs more of just a discussion today. Is this something that you guys are thinking of offering in the future? Like an event based on just hair, the history, the culture around it?
Yeah. Caroline, that's a good idea. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk because that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That might happen this semester. Let's talk about it.
All right, perfect. I'll put something on your calendar. I'll drop it in.
Thank you.
No, thank you for this. For inviting people to this and letting it be known that the sisterhood is something to empower women. It's a beautiful cause, and we spoke briefly about it yesterday. There has to be more discussions around this, and I'm glad that you guys are opening the doors for people to talk about, be vulnerable in situations where we're not allowed to be. So thank you.
Are there any other questions that anyone has? Feel free to drop them in the chat or raise your hand.
I can't find the raise hand button, but I do have a question. So I'm like literally raising my hand. I think you were saying that you're like you also do presentations to like other groups or other organizations. Would we just like get in touch with you with that, or is that like something that you would be open to?
I would be open to that. Deliana, would you? Yeah, you could just reach out to us. We are very open to having discussions and presenting on this topic, or even possibly guiding a session. I'm totally down to do that.
Yeah, you can definitely email us. If you download, I know Diana dropped it in the chat, but if you also download the Spring 2024 document that I dropped in the chat, our contact is there as well.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I never asked before, but can I share the group with other individuals that don't go to the school and don't work at the school, like with other females that would want to have like the support group that Hermanidad offers?
Absolutely. Our discussion series this semester is registered via Zoom. We do post it on our engagement platform involved for our students and staff members to have access to it fast. But we did a registration with Zoom, so Deliana shared it in the chat. Feel free to share that with other individuals and share joining in. So it's open to other outside of the institution.
And we are located in New Jersey, so it's Eastern Standard Time for us.
Yeah. I think we're done. I think we're good to go. Yes.
If anyone has any questions or wants to speak further with us, please feel free to reach out. We can schedule a meeting. Thank you everyone who joined and participated. We appreciate it. And we hope that you're able to implement this at your institutions.
Thank you to our HCCC family for joining us. We always love and appreciate your love and support when we do these presentations.
And thank you everyone who attended. We appreciate Diana and Deliana for providing their expertise and their information. So I guess we'll see, hopefully we'll see you next week, February 7th, for another webinar series. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.